Let's go. Roots all the way down. Let's grow.
Today, I think I want to talk about the concept of success. Like, what is success? Like, the definition of it, you know? Because I think it's different for everybody. And I think it's really important to know what your definition is for you, just for you, not so that you can judge other people and whether they have it or not, because it really is none of our business. It just does not matter. But like, what does it mean to you? I think it's really important that we figure that out as soon as we can. And it's not really something you can rush either, honestly, or at least, I don't know, in my opinion anyway. I'm 42 and I feel like I'm only in the last 2 years, really just in my 40s, I'm finally willing to readjust what my definition of that word is. And it feels so important to me now to live by that, whatever that is for me, so that I don't drown in this like anxiety of always caring what everyone else's definition is, you know, and living my life by that, which just isn't true to me. And so it's not working because it's not in alignment, you know? Anyway, I don't know why I feel emotional right now talking, like I kind of feel a little choked up as I'm talking about that. And I'm trying to figure out why that is. I think it's the like heaviness of really understanding how important that is for me to be at peace, I guess, is what it is. Because that's kind of all I care about now. It's been great and really hard and heavy so often because the understanding is so deep. It's like I don't even know how else to say that. It's visceral, you know? And you just can't go back from there. Once you get to a point of seeing yourself and seeing your life in that way, that's a door that you don't walk the other way through. Like you can't. You know too much now. And so now you have to decide what you're going to do with the information you have. Are you going to use it to evolve in a way that feels better, whatever better means to you, you know? Are you going to let it terrify you and send you into a spiral of misery? Damn, that's harsh. But I really think it could be that. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with Enneagram, personality types, that kind of thing. But Enneagram is one with numbers, the number thing. And I'm a 3, which is apparently the achiever. And there are many wonderful things about that personality type that, you know, we get shit done. We get shit done. And we're pretty good at stuff because we work hard and we're down to work hard and we care. We care about doing a good job and getting those 5 gold stars, of course. Otherwise, have we even done it yet? That's making me think of the time that Jim Carrey came out to present at the Golden Globes. I don't remember what year that was. It's got to be like 2016 or 17 or something, maybe 20, I don't know. But he basically spoke to that point. He said, I don't go to bed at night dreaming about being 2-time Golden Globe winning Jim Carrey. I go to bed dreaming about being 3-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey, because then it would finally be enough. Finally, it would be true. And I could stop this endless search for everything that inevitably would never fulfill me. It's so perfect. It's so perfect. I have watched that so many times. And I remember the first time I saw him do that live and I almost died because I was like, yes, oh my God. Yes. Why are we like this? Ugh, brutal. So brutal and so funny. And if you can just find the humor in it, honestly, it is a lot easier to deal with because, guys, it's not that serious. I know it feels really serious, but it's not that serious. We're just people with feelings and we're all just trying to figure it out, and we're all trying to feel as much of the good feelings and as little of the bad feelings as possible. That's really all we're all trying to do. And we all have wildly different ideas about how to get there. And yeah, I guess I want to tell you how mine has shifted. And so, like I said earlier, being the personality type that is very ambitious and really strives for excellence and also reward and recognition is, on the one hand, a really awesome thing. It makes me, it has made me very hardworking, very willing to be uncomfortable in the pursuit of a dream. Like I'm willing to sit in the discomfort of how hard it is to not be good at first and then have to work at it. Like I will work myself to the bone for what I want. I have absolutely no problem sacrificing at all, like other things. I can be very laser focused on a goal when I have one set. And, there's good and bad things about that, right? So I definitely have sacrificed connection in a lot of ways at different times in my life because of my workaholic tendencies. I've definitely had feedback from friends throughout my years where they're like, "Hey, it would be really awesome to see you." It'd be nice if we hung out once in a while and we weren't just like friends twice a year. And I get that, and I always feel bad about that. Always. That's definitely a hard thing for me. Is just making time for other things other than work. Because again, like I said, it's just I've been so laser focused and so um it's almost like a video game to me. And I used to play video games as a kid and I used to spend hours and hours playing and kind of losing time. So whatever that part of my brain is hasn't changed. I've brought that into my adult life, and that is in a lot of ways how I approach work or have in the past. It's not how I do anymore. Although now that I'm doing this podcast, we'll see. I don't know. I am feeling those feelings come up again where it's like I might be sitting on the couch watching a show with my husband and I'm thinking about what I want to talk about on the podcast and then I'm sort of distracted. So it's probably something I'll have to battle my whole life because I get excited about things and I want to work on them. uh, I'm a self-motivator. You could say that. You definitely don't have to try to get me to work if I'm excited about the work I'm doing. So anyway, my point is there are aspects of that personality type that have very much served me in the work sphere because I will work really hard and the hard work does pay off. I have gotten results from time spent working. So it works, right? Like the model is working. However, because because I have this sort of insatiable need for achievement, it doesn't end. And so it got to a point where it doesn't really matter how many times I reach the goal line and how many times I get recognition or reward for my hard work. The satisfaction from that doesn't last very long for me. And at a certain point, I got burnt out and I had to realize, oh my God, like, am I never gonna reach some level of success where I feel like I am allowed to take a break, where I'm allowed to actually breathe and say no to things that I don't actually want to spend my time doing, which on the surface that sounds like, of course, obviously, like you can do whatever you want, but it hasn't always felt like that, you know? For me, for a long time, it felt like in order to be successful, and my definition of success was monetary, financial success. So getting paid for what I do felt like success. Getting recognition, getting rewarded, having people tell me that I'm good at what I do and celebrating me and putting labels on me like Queen of Sync. People will comment that on my Instagram or have over the years. And that has felt like, oh my God, I think I'm successful. People view me as successful, and that feels really good for like an hour until it's gone. And now, everyone's back to doing what they're doing, and I'm still here. And there's still like this empty void of, okay, I don't know if that was enough. Um, or even like the pressure of now that I've achieved this thing, now it's expected of me. And so now I have to top it. It's like this feeling of endless climb that is relentless, and again is good if you're trying to be someone who's motivated. Like, sure, that's motivating for me, but I don't really need that. I don't need that. I need to find the balance. And so for me, it's actually been healthier to undo that pattern and decide that external validation and recognition is not success to me anymore. It's almost like I'm rebelling against it. Like, I still feel that. I know that if people were coming to me and cheering me on and telling me how awesome I am, that would still feel really good for sure. But there's a part of me now that feels like I want to reject that. Like, I don't, not that I don't want to receive it, but that I don't want it to have as much weight. I want it to be there, but I don't want it to mean everything, because there's a shallowness to it. It's not, it's like if it's not coming from me, it doesn't matter as much, because people come and go, relationships come and go, coworkers come and go, but I'm always with me. So I have to be proud of me, and I have to feel good about what I'm doing. And really, that's kind of the only thing that matters. And I don't know why that's been so hard for me to wrap my head around. It's like I can intellectually understand that, and I think I have for a long time, but to actually feel that truly has been a lot harder to do. And in order to get to that place, I have had to sort of weed through like this really disorganized, messy closet in my brain. And I've had to throw all of these things out and look at them and be like, oh, this thing that I thought mattered or had something to do with my self-worth. Nope, that doesn't actually matter at all. I'm throwing that out. It's just like I'm picturing a cartoon where it's like there's you know, a tornado of things flying behind me that I'm just digging through just to get to the core and the one thing that actually matters, and it's my own opinion. What a concept. But yeah, I mean, I in digging through that closet, what I realized was there were two main things that were kind of the pillars of what my definition of success was. And for me, it was financial gain, financial return for hard work, and external validation, approval from other people, other people having a positive opinion about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And if I had those two things, then for the most part, I felt successful. And I've been really fortunate that I had many years where I did feel, in my experience, like I had both of those things. And so I did feel successful. And there was still this this aching and this longing and this emptiness that was present that it was like a whisper that I just couldn't shake, And what I realized is that the reason I still wasn't feeling fulfilled is because somewhere along the path I had gotten off track again in terms of being in alignment with my own integrity about what I like and what I think is good in terms of my art and my creation. And I think I would imagine that this is a pitfall for a lot of creative people, especially people who make creativity their profession, professional artists of any type, whether you're a writer or um, making pottery or jewelry or whatever it is, just any sort of art. I think it's easy to fall into this trap. And it's because art comes from such a pure place, right? It's such a pure thing to create something from nothing. I mean, it's magic. It really feels like it's magic. And as soon as you bring money into the picture, and now it's like you're conjuring magic in order to have somebody give you this fake thing that we made up called money so that you can feed yourself and take care of your family is just like I get how we got here as a society, and I'm not saying that we need to get rid of money. I don't really know what the solution would be. It's just that in terms of art, when you introduce money into it, it gets weird. It kind of ruins it a little bit because now it changes part of the creation. If you're not just making your art just to make it, and you're not just like a little kid in a sandbox building a castle. I mean, if the kid in the sandbox, if you're telling him, hey, if this isn't a good enough castle, you don't get to eat today. Well, now he's probably not having as much fun building that sandcastle because it's stressful. It's like takes all the fun out of it. And I don't know how to get around that because if you make it your business, then yeah, that's your business. And so you have to make money doing it. So I think there's a way to find a healthy balance is what I'm suggesting. I'm not saying that you have to completely ignore all things that m- allow you to monetize your art, because if that's what you're trying to do, then that's sort of counterproductive, right? And at the same time, I also think there are ways to, on an individual level, whatever your sort of threshold is for what feels good to you, there are ways to find a healthy balance between making sure that you're being true to yourself and you're enjoying the process and you feel good about the art that you're creating, and also you are using the tools that you've learned along the way in order to help form that into something that could be monetized. And that takes time to figure out how to do, and it's not really something anyone can teach you how to do. I mean, I've thought about it before, about teaching a course on how to write for sync, for example. And I've had people reach out to me and ask me if I would be interested in doing some consulting work and things like that. And I am open to it. Um, but the idea of charging for whatever information I have feels icky to me, because my information is just, it's so specific to me and my experience. And it's really just my opinion. Like, I don't have any magic answers. Nobody does. I mean, nobody does really. I mean, it's just a bunch of opinions. And yeah, some of the opinions maybe have more weight than others because people have had more experience, and that's something you have to determine about what you want to spend money on in terms of getting information from people. But that's another reason why I wanted to do this podcast, because I just want to freely share what I've experienced and what I've kind of come up with, and what has worked for me, because I don't, this isn't something that I want you to have to pay for. It just feels weird, especially if you're a struggling musician. It's like you don't have any money. The last thing you want to do is spend money to ask someone, hey, how do I make money doing this? Um, So anyway, that's just a tangent. But speaking from my perspective, as somebody who has been fortunate enough to get to a point where I have spent the last 20 years really um, paying the bills with my art, I can tell you that number one, yes, that has been incredible. And I'm so grateful. And I do have these really rich moments of clarity where I can recognize how fortunate I am and really feel that. And I get super overwhelmed and yeah, it's beautiful. And also, there are parts of this path that have been really, really hard. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that one of them that has been hard for me is maintaining that artistic integrity. And it's like I almost feel embarrassed to admit that because it makes me feel like I'm saying that there's been some part of me that hasn't been authentic or something. It's that's not 100% the case. Um, there's always a level of authenticity in any of the art that I create because it's coming from me and it's a natural thing. But I know the difference. I can feel in my body when I'm abandoning my own opinion of what I think is cool in order to, fit some mold of what I think is going to give me a return financially. And every time I've done that, it has felt terrible, like so bad, like just cringy in my body. And there were times where I ignored that sort of bad feeling and just convinced myself that no, I have to do this. I have to do this in order to survive. I have to write another song called, you know, Do It Like Me or something. Which there's nothing wrong with writing a song called Do It Like Me, but I'm telling you, there are certain concepts and phrases that make money if you do them right, if you execute them properly. And you'll start to notice if you're watching a show like Selling Sunset, for example, that there's a lot of repetition in theme of the songs. And that's because that's what the supervisor's looking for. That's what they want for the show. Like there's a valid reason for it. It works. It's been proven over and over that it works for a certain type of energy. And there are a lot of people who can execute that task and do that and come up with a cool beat and a way to, either rap that or sing that and do that. And it's awesome that we even have the ability and the outlet to be able to do that to make money because most of us that are, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say most of us. A lot of people that are in that space of the music business, it's because they either don't want to do the major label thing or haven't had the opportunity to, or whatever it is. There's a reason why people get into sync. And for a lot of people, it's for the reason that I did, the artistic freedom and um and the ability to own more of your song, honestly. There's that too. And just kind of start your own business essentially because it's a great model. It's a great way to make money in the music business, especially if you are a performer and you like to be the voice of the thing. It's like I said in my intro episode. I mean, there's a million reasons why it's awesome and why it's been great for me as well. Um, but like anything, when you do it for a long time, or for me anyway, when I got to a point where I had done it for a long time, I eventually it the money part of it and the part of me that was really enjoying that financial reward got off track with what feels right for me. And I started to chase money really and success and achievement and more and more and more. And I lost myself in the process and it didn't feel good anymore. And and I felt ashamed for that too, because on the one hand, what do you mean? Like you've had all this success and you've been so fortunate and what you're not happy about that? Like, And of course I am. Um, but no, not fully, because what happened in the process was there's all these other parts of me creatively that I didn't let join the party because I knew or believed that they couldn't fit into that mold of what was syncable or what would make money, and so they don't get to come to the party. And after a certain amount of time of neglecting your own creativity, a part of you dies. And maybe I shouldn't make statements like that. Like, I want to be careful, I guess. I can't say a part of you dies. I don't know what it would be like for you guys. For me, a part of me started to die. And, there were times where I would talk to people, friends, and be at parties and stuff, and someone would say something nice like, "Oh, I saw your commercial," or "Oh my God, I saw your song on the show. That's so awesome." And I would kind of like be self-deprecating about it. I wouldn't just be like, "Oh yeah, thanks." Instead I'd be like, "Oh gosh, that song's terrible." Or like, and that's embarrassing too, because if someone's giving you a compliment, like, just take it. Especially when you're someone that really wants the compliment, like, then maybe receive it. Oh yeah. But I don't know. I think that's part of this sort of mental health struggle of somebody who is seeking approval. It's like the thing that you're seeking so much, even when you get it, you don't allow yourself to receive it. And I think on some level, I don't know, there's some psychology there where it's like, if I don't receive it, then I have to keep working for it. And that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me motivated, is feeling like I haven't done enough. And if I allow myself to feel like I've done enough and like I've been successful, and if I allow myself to feel good about myself, what if that um, kills the momentum, and now I have nowhere to go? Like, what do I do now? um, what a nice problem to have, huh? But yeah, I think it's just been, it's interesting. I've had moments like that, and basically a couple of years ago, I got to a point where I knew I have to start doing something different. And it doesn't mean forever. It just means for right now, because this thing that I'm doing feels like everything in my body is rejecting this process now. And every time I ignore that and step into another session and write to another track that gets sent to me that sounds exactly like all of the other tracks all of the other songs I've already made, it's like, it's not fun anymore. And even if I win, quote unquote, win with that, that it doesn't feel good. And so I have to stop. And recognizing that is one thing. Actually doing something and actually stopping what you're doing, especially when you are making money, for me anyway, was really, really challenging. Really challenging to give myself permission to stop doing the thing that was putting money in my bank account. Because the fear of all security going out the window was very, very real, and still is. I still have that fear all the time. But what I got to do in that space is look at that and go, okay, I have a fear of financial instability. Huh. Okay, where did that start? And what would no longer having it mean? Like, sometimes I play that game with myself when I'm worried or have a fear about something. It's like, okay, let's do worst case scenario. I never make money in music again because I decide for a second that I don't want to write to this one track and I don't want to do that session. And now everything's taken away from me and nobody wants to talk to me and nobody ever licenses my music again. No one ever streams it again. It's over. What then? Would I still make art? Absolutely. Absolutely, I would. And realizing that has been so comforting to me, because the truth is, the purity of the creation and the purity of sitting in the music when I'm playing the piano or when I'm singing, like, that's the sweet stuff. Like just being in it, just experiencing music and letting it come through me is so sacred to me. And nothing can take that away from me, whether I'm paid for it or not. As long as I'm able to sing, as long as my fingers are able to move, like I will be playing the piano and I will be making music and I will be soothing myself with music. So, number one, okay, baseline, I still have the thing that makes me feel good and makes me feel the best. I can still do that. So that's great. And worst case scenario, if I can't make money doing this anymore, well, I know now after all of these years of experience that I'm a really hard worker and I will figure it out. I will figure out a way to make money. I will get a job or I will create another business or whatever it is. Um, so really, the fear doesn't have as much weight anymore once I kind of go down the path of undoing that knot. It's like a knot of Christmas lights, and once you start kind of peeling it all apart, it's like actually it's okay because I'm still me and I'm still going to figure it out. And so now, with that as the truth and as my ground to stand on, what do I want to do with my time? And so I've spent the last couple of years only doing what I want to do and only being creative when I want to and how I want to. And I've said no to more things than I've ever said no to before. And even though it still feels a little scary sometimes because I hate disappointing people, the payoff is that it's felt so good to not disappoint myself. Like if I have to choose between you and me, I've been choosing me, and that's been new for me, and it's felt really good. And the strangest things have happened. Like when my dog died at the end of January 2024, I was understandably a huge mess. Like it really, really rocked me because it was completely unexpected. He wasn't sick or anything. It was just it was just out of the blue. Like my husband called me and was basically inaudible, and somehow I kind of heard through the noises he was making that that Moose had died. And yeah, it was like someone kicked me in the chest, in the stomach. And I found myself walking upstairs to the piano. I didn't really think about it. It's just what I did. And I ended up sitting there and I just kind of started playing, and I don't know, just making something up. I just like this song came out of me and it was soothing me. It was almost like rocking a baby or something, except I was the baby and I was rocking myself and I was doing it through the piano. And I spent the next few days after that just at the piano all day. Like I couldn't stop. It was the only thing that calmed my nervous system down and could get my body to stop shaking. Because I have this weird bodily response when I'm really upset where I get the shakes. It's almost like shivers, like I'm cold or something, and my body like convulses or something. It shakes really uncontrollably, and it's very painful because it's really hard to, I can't control it, it feels like. I have to like take really big deep breaths in order to get a break from it, but it kind of just keeps going and it can last for days. Like it's just a hot bath will help, or being hugged or whatever. But anyway, it's a thing that happens to me. And in the piano, I was able to like move the energy in a healthier way, I guess. And anyway, what came from that was all of these new creations, all of this new art that I didn't know I had in me. And while it wasn't necessarily as like perfectly wrapped in a bow of me going, hey, you know what I'd really like to do now is write some piano music. And then I went and did it. Like, that's not how it came about at all. It came out of a bit of a trauma response, really. But nevertheless, I was in this kind of newfound position where I'd given myself time to create however I wanted to. And what was interesting actually was the night that I found out that Moose died. I mean, the moment that I got the call from my husband, I had just sat down in my studio at the computer and had just opened up Logic. And I was so excited. I had gone down to Nashville. I had planned on spending a week by myself to just create and just not worry about what I was going to create, just kind of open the computer up and just see what happened and go back to like the days where I first started producing Olly Anna, when I just kind of showed up and didn't really know what was going to come out and just played, played in the sandbox. So that was what I was intending to do in that moment. And I had just opened my computer and then I got a call from my husband and, and everything came out about Moose. And anyway, I just find that really interesting, I guess, for some reason, because it's like I was setting an intention to create. I just didn't know it was going to be through a nuclear bomb. And that's what it felt like it was. But the art came. The art did come, and I was in a position to let it come through, and it absolutely saved me. It absolutely saved me. It was like the greatest therapy that I could ever have. And it was like, I felt like a lightning bolt went through my body. I remember trying to describe it to people, and I felt so like I was being so dramatic or something, but it really felt like that. It was like, because I play the piano, I've played since I was a little girl. I play by ear, but I'm not a fancy pianist in any way. Like, nobody would be impressed by my piano playing, I don't think. And yeah, like if before that, if you had said to me, "Oh, play me something on the piano," like I don't even know what I would have played. I didn't really have anything in my repertoire that was like ready to go to be played. And I used to feel kind of shameful about that because I was like, I know I can play and I write songs on the piano, but it's like once I write them and it's over, it's just kind of gone. It doesn't necessarily stick around. And so it's not really something where I can just sit down at a piano and play. At least that's kind of how it was. And all of a sudden, I was like spending days at a time, I mean, weeks, playing all day to the point where like my fingers were callousing from the piano. I didn't even know that could happen. And my neck and my back were hurting, but like I didn't care because I just could not stop hearing music in my head. It was like a radio was playing. The music just kept coming and I had to get it out. And so I would hear it in my head and then I'd have to go to the piano and sort of sound it out, and find the notes and then learn how to play what I was hearing in my head, which because I wasn't really well practiced, took a lot of time. So I was playing hours and hours of piano, and the distraction of that was really nice while I was grieving. And it also gave me a sense of purpose because it felt so clearly to me like this is a way that I can honor this animal that I love so deeply. It's like I didn't have the words to express what I was feeling, but my hands did. They had the ability to, and the music spoke enough itself. And it's like three things were happening at once. I was experiencing the profound grief in the way it felt in my body, while also sort of observing myself experiencing it and recognizing like, whoa, something really beautiful is happening here. And then also the worker bee part of me that was like, I have to make this mean something. And so I just decided, I was like, I'm going to follow this muse. I'm going to write as many piano songs as come to me And then I'm going to record them and I'm going to release an EP or an album or something in honor of Muse. And man, I I went hard. I went real hard on that. Like I said earlier about once I set a goal, like I go for it. So I did. I mean, I spent most of 2024, anytime I had free time, I was playing the piano. I was either composing a new song or I was practicing the ones that I had already written and was coming up with, better endings, or I don't know, just practicing. And then it came time to record them. And of course, yeah, I could just go and find a producer or find a studio that has a piano mic'd up and I could just record it and do it kind of the easier way. But no, not me. No, I had to figure out how to do it myself because I'm a psycho. So I am now watching YouTube videos and reading articles and just taking in as much information as possible about how to engineer the miking of a live piano, while also recognizing that my piano is not in a soundproofed room. It's right next to windows by the street where cars go. It's also the summer of cicadas in Tennessee, where basically all day it's really, really loud, real loud, and at night even louder. Um, so it was a bit of a nightmare in a lot of ways, logistically speaking. And there's a part of me, like when I get excited about something, I just want to get it done. And so I was feeling this urge of like, I've got to capture this while this is here. I've got to get these songs recorded while they're coming through me. And was really annoyed by how much time it was taking me to learn how to mic them and buy the right mics and set it up and try all the different trial and error things of trying all the many ways of doing it in my space with my piano. And I don't live in Nashville full time. I split time between Ontario and Tennessee. So I only ever had like a week or two at a time when I was in Nashville. And so I would just work like the most insane hours, like up until 3 or 4 in the morning, and then sleeping and waking up and doing my, health routine and then getting right back to it. So there was a bit of a like manic quality. Someone looking in from outside would have maybe said that. Um, I don't think I was actually manic. I'm just saying that there was like a mania to the level of focus and attention and intent that I had going into that creative space. And yeah, by the time I got to, I guess, the fall, I finally had, I had so many recordings. And then I had to learn how to mix it and EQ it and master it and all that stuff. And you don't need all these details. My point is just that it was magical. Even though it was hard and it was a struggle, I was doing something with purpose and something that really meant something to me. And that goal of finishing this project meant more than anything to me. And just to have something like that again that I felt that passionate about was so beautiful. And I'm just so, it's weird. It's like I want to say I'm grateful for it. I'm not grateful that my dog died. I hate that part. But I'm grateful that in the midst of that chaos and that pain, beauty came in and love came in the shape of music. Like that to me is absolute magic. And if I had still been in a space where I was operating only creating things that I knew were, had a good chance of bringing in money, I wouldn't have given myself the time to do that, is really what I'm saying. And that would have been a real shame because 2024 ended up being a very powerful, transformative year for me, psychologically, emotionally, and creatively. And in October of 2024, I released my first single of, just solo piano music. And it was terrifying because I had never done that before and I didn't know how it would be received. And I didn't know if people would be like, wait, what are you doing? I hate this. Like, this isn't what I follow you for. All the like fear things came in, but I did it anyway because it meant something to me. And I felt like if you're a fan of me as an artist, then I'm going to give you my art. And maybe previously I've given you my art at like a level 7 or 8 out of 10, and I'm trying to give you the 10 right now. And I don't know, just the act of doing it, just doing something for myself felt so good. And for Moose, for his honor and to honor the love that he brought into my life and that we shared together as souls, it just felt so much more important than anything else. And it's been a really interesting learning experience for me because I've now released 6 songs, piano instrumentals, and I've kind of worked on rebranding my social media appearance, which, I mean, who cares, right? It's like social media is so dumb. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. It's a necessary tool in today's world, and I'm glad we have it. But sometimes I definitely resent just the whole process of all of that too. But that's a whole other rabbit hole to go down. But I'm just trying to make the point that me giving myself the space and the time and putting myself in a position where I could experience creativity on that level and create art that meant something to me and spend a year of my time working on it is so awesome to me and is not something that I think I could have given myself permission to do 2 years ago or 5 years ago or any other time until now. And I'm just so grateful to be at this point in my life where I'm giving myself that. And that feels like success to me. Like, even though it's not highly streamed, I'm not really making any money off of these songs. I have had lots of positive feedback from people that have listened to them, and that's awesome. But more than anything, it feels good to me. It feels like this is true to me. This is the sound of my heart, and I am giving that to you. And I'm so glad that I have been brave enough really to do that because it hasn't been easy. The first year, I felt like a fish out of water. Like I really kind of had an identity crisis. And every time I saw things on Instagram of other people, working together or people getting sync placements or whatever, it just felt like, oh my gosh, I used to be at that party and I'm not at that party anymore. And what if I don't get invited? And meanwhile, I'm the one who left the party. I willingly walked out of the party. But I still want to be invited. And anyway, yeah, it was an interesting time. There were a lot of tears, a lot of crying, and a lot of just having to reevaluate my own self-worth, really, is what it came down to. Because what I realized is that I 100% valued my own self-worth based on how successful I was monetarily and how successful I was in the sync game or how successful I was in other people's eyes. It's like, if I had that, then I felt good enough. And if I no longer have that, then I'm just a loser, or the imposter syndrome is now proven to be true. It's like, yep, see, I was never it. And, I think that's normal. I think we all have those parts of our brain that are really mean to us like that. And you got to let them live too. They get to have a say at the table, but you don't have to listen to them. You can acknowledge that they're there and let them state their piece. And then you can choose who you're going to spend time with. And luckily, for the majority of the time, I am choosing to spend time with the version of me that's nice to me and that gives me permission to take this time to reevaluate what I'm doing and to make sure that I am living authentically and living my best life, whatever that is for me. And I'm still figuring it out. And I know that I will continue to still be figuring it out for the following years, for the rest of my life. The difference is that now that I've sort of done the scary thing of walking away from the safety net, I now feel more prepared and like I have this armor now where it's like, well, I've already survived this. And, the more episodes I do of this podcast, the more I will explain many other times in my life and career where I have felt like something was over or that it had all gone to shit and bounced back from it. So I have a lot of evidence stocked up in my brain now to know that it's going to be okay. And I'm actually excited because the other thing about the Enneagram 3 personality type, that for me anyway, is that I think we like the climb. Like I like starting over. I like being the underdog. I like doing things that are scary and like not scary in like a horror movie scary way, scary in a like I don't know how this is going to work out or how I'm going to figure this out kind of way. Like there's something exciting about a challenge to me, and I like who I am when I'm in that space of being challenged. I like the way that I show up to challenges. I almost like myself more when I'm doing hard things because I get to remind myself how resilient I am and how strong I am, like in ways that like real strength, like emotional strength. Like I always come back. And I'm so grateful that I have that. And that ability feels like success to me now. Like that's my new definition of success, is being able to live a life designed by me, do what I want with my time and create the way that I want to create, make the art that I want to make, and do it on my terms without beating myself up about it and without worrying about what the end result is going to be. Because the end result isn't really the thing anymore. Like that's not the why anymore. The why now is to sort of, I don't know, to like live this really pure human existence of like, I get to be alive right now and I get to have these gifts that I feel like are God-given. So I'm going to use them and I'm going to just let them flow and I'm going to let the rest play out however it plays out. Like I'm going to take my hands off the wheel a little bit. It's a little Jesus Takes the Wheel. It is. It is. And that's a great song. And that's why that's a great song, because so many people can relate to that and to the desire to do that, especially if you're like an overachiever like me. We tend to be a bit controlling and you're trying so hard. You're holding on so tightly to life. And it's like you're holding on so tight that you can't even let in the good parts. And I just refuse to live that way anymore. And I'm not saying that I'm going to do it perfectly. I still have days where I am holding on tight and I'm doing it again. And it's something that I'm just going to have to keep continually reprogramming my brain to do differently. And that work to me now is as important to me as the work of creating beautiful art. Because I know that the art in itself isn't enough either. Like I have to feel good in my body. I have to feel good about who I am and how I'm showing up in the world. And I am the only one that can bring myself peace. Like nobody else can. Like we think that all these external things are controlling our happiness, but they're not. It's us. It all starts with you in your own mind. It's how you perceive everything. It's how you receive everything. I mean, it all comes down to you. And now that I really fully accept that and am intentionally trying to live in that way from that space, I feel so much lighter. The majority of my days are just a lot better. And I'm excited. I'm excited because I don't really know what's coming now. And it's almost like a grab bag of candy, where you pay a certain amount and you grab it and you don't know what you're going to get, but you know it's going to be candy. You know it's going to be sweet. Like that's how I feel now. And I'm glad I don't know what it's going to be, because even when I thought that I did, I was always wrong anyway. So it doesn't really matter. I just need to keep showing up truthfully and intentionally and let the rest do what it does. And if I can succeed in doing that every day, then I feel successful. So I don't know if that helps anybody or not, but I hope it does. And I also am willing to admit that I know whatever opinion I have about all of this right now could change in a year. It could change tomorrow. No, it won't change tomorrow, I don't think. But I'm willing to let that happen too, It's like I just want to let myself evolve naturally and stop resisting what wants to exist and what wants to be, and just sort of trust myself more, trust my own intuition to know when it's time to make a change and to know, what the next move is. That's all we really ever need to know, is just where are we right now and what is the next move? You don't have to know the next 10 steps, just the next move. And yeah, I hope that was helpful. I never know how to end these things. I really struggle with wrapping it up. But I'm going to wrap it up, and I will be back again next time to maybe dive into this even more. I don't know yet what it's going to be. You and I will find out together. But I hope you keep coming back, and I hope this was valuable in some way to you. And yeah, talk to you later.
1, 2, let's go. We're all the way down, that's how we grow. We're all the way down, that's how we grow.
Is anybody listening?